everybody. Welcome to Dalhart, Texas. Today is the 11th of July, 2020. This is Rick, also known as Duke City Double Dog. Again, we're in Dalhart, Texas. It's about 11:23 local time, about 92 degrees. So it's going to be a hot one over here in Dalhart. One of the things I wanted to show real quick is we don't always go on just interstates. I mean, we spend quite a bit of time, going on some of these US highways and state highways. And right now I'm on US 54 going west. We are headed to California. We did pick up a load in Liberal, Kansas, but we've got two stops in California, one in Vernon, one in Fresno. But we're running. We're going to run about 550 miles today. Decent day running wise, not too bad. We picked up a load at a plant over here, out here in Kansas, and right now we're in Texas. But in Kansas, where we pick up a lot of loads, we'll pick them up in Liberal, Kansas, in Dodge City, Kansas. Like I said, a few different places out there, or up in Nebraska, and we call that the meat patch. So, mostly what we're pulling out of there is beef, sometimes pork, sometimes chicken, but almost always beef. And so those cities, they're not on major interstates. They're, most of them aren't anyway. There's a few as you go through Nebraska that are, but for the most part, they're off of these US highways. So it takes a while to get back to an interstate so that we can run it. Like for instance, to get to Interstate 40, where we're headed, we got a good 130 miles of US highway that we gotta navigate, and it's a little different driving US highway versus driving interstate. For instance, the lanes are a little bit narrower. You deal with a lot more two-way or single lane, or sometimes highways. Sometimes you'll have 4 lanes. Sometimes you'll have 2 lanes, and then you'll get passing lanes as you go down a little bit. But we're going through Dalhart here, and we'll come up here and we'll have to take a right to stay on 54. Because this is going to come out. This is going to go into New Mexico through the back way here, up through the northeast corner of New Mexico, and take us through Tucumcari, which will get us on Interstate 40.
In a quarter mile, turn right on East 7th Street.
So, but I do like going through these towns. But you do have to negotiate it. You do have to take your time to get through here, because the turns sometimes are a little rough, and local traffic, they're not always really good about helping you out here. Some of them are, especially the ones who drive these every day. They'll know. But like you can see where this
turn right at the traffic light.
That Cadillac right there. We're going to swing really wide here, just so that we can not even get anywhere next to that traffic right there.
Continue on West 7th Street.
But they'll sometimes pull farther forward than the lines show, and when they do that, it makes it really tough to take those corners. So when you see lines that are telling you where to stop at intersections, it's really important. They're there for a reason, and especially if they're set back a little ways, they are there for a reason, because the people who set those lines up and set the traffic patterns, they know when there's a truck route and trucks need to make a turn and they need that extra room, where if you pull forward to that line, you're right there where they need to turn. And one of two things happen. Either you get a truck driver who's going to wait, which they should, because you're in that area. But then you set the traffic behind them. You stop the traffic behind them, or you have a truck driver who's maybe a little bit green, and they're going to try to make that turn, and they're going to end up nailing your car, which, even though it might be their fault, it causes you a lot of headaches too. So anyway, we're running to Tucumcari, like I said, and that's where we'll pick up I-40 westbound. So we got about 90 miles left to get there. This is all, like I said, it's all two-way traffic. Well, it's not all, but a lot of it is, and it takes a little bit more time, a little bit more patience. One of the things that I know that my trainer was really good about things. I know some trainers at Stevens, especially the lease operators and some of the owner operators, they like their students only to drive on Interstate. I think that's a little bit of a disservice to them, to their students, because as soon as their students get into grad fleet, they're going to get dispatched and they're going to have to run US Highway sometime. And if you haven't run US Highway when you're with a trainer, it can be a little bit of a headache. My trainer, Mark, I liked what he said. He said, when you're in that seat and we're driving somewhere, and that's where our route takes us, you're driving it. That's all there is to it. And that's what I did. And so I got a lot of experience driving US highways, and it's paid off for me. I don't, it doesn't bother me, Another thing about US highways is you tend to go through a lot of small towns as you're going on these US highways. What that means is that you've got speed changes, and so you'll be slowing down and speeding back up and everything else, and almost always when you go through those small towns, there are police waiting for you to catch the people who didn't slow down. And if that's you, not only are you gonna end up paying a fine for speeding, but there's a decent chance that you're also going to get some sort of inspection, whether it's a level 3 inspection or whatever. But it's important that you take your time and that you follow the speed limits. So anyway, we're like I said, we're gonna pick up Interstate 40 in about an hour and a half. So if there's anything else we see on the way, we're gonna go ahead and share it with you, and then we'll go from there. I'll talk to you in a few. Well, everybody, we are getting ready to come into New Mexico here. This is off of US 54, and as you can see, there are different ways to come into different states. We just entered Mountain Daylight Time, so it is now 11:07. We're going to come into just as we get into New Mexico here. We'll see a weigh station, inspection station, in a little town that's up here. I believe this is Hwys County. And it's the town of Nara Visa. Like I said, little old town. I don't even know if it's incorporated anymore, but we'll check it out in a minute here. Okay, we're coming into Nara Visa, New Mexico. It's, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it is unincorporated, so it doesn't have its own government anymore. It is in Hwys County. It does have its own post office, though, and at the 2010 census, there were about 120 people living in this area. But we're going to get ready to come up. We've got a weigh station up here. Don't know if it's open or not. Just slow it down here. We'll see if it's open or not. If it's open, we'll go in just like we're supposed to. Northeastern part of New Mexico. New Mexico is a really big state. If you haven't had a chance to come through here, it is the 5th largest state area-wise in the country. There's the post office there we're passing, but not a whole lot else over here. It's open. We're going to go in here. Different places have different kinds of scales, or they'll check for different things. This here, I believe, has a single axle scale. So what you're going to see here is slowly rolling over the scales. So it's gonna measure the different sets of axles. So instead of pulling the whole truck on one platform and measuring it that way, this is going to measure each one separately. So they can figure out what our total weight is. So, but we're going to wait until they clear. You'll be able to see the scale there as we go. This place doesn't show you what the weights are as you go. So you just go over about 3 miles an hour. to stop or whatever. There also, you saw the lights. As long as that light's green, you can go through there. If it turned red, you'd have to stop, or if you got an arrow that would direct you back to a place where they would stop and inspect you or whatever, that's what you would do next. So anyway, but that's rolling through one of these small weigh scales. Really, just takes a little bit of time. This one doesn't have a bypass on it like some of the other ones, or at least it doesn't have a pre-pass bypass on it. But that's all you're doing as you're going through there. But yeah, you'll find weigh stations all over the place around the country. What's interesting is as we go into California, one of the things that you'll notice when we get into California is that there are no weigh scales until you get really down into past the high desert. I mean, down Cajon Pass in that area. That's about the first weigh station that you really run into going down I-5 or I-40, I-5. You don't hit it until you get down there, and then once you get into Southern California and then driving up to Northern California, you start to find them all over the place. I mean, you'll run into them. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So it's really important that you know that you're weighed correctly. We have a thing here at Stevens where once you pick up your load, you will go and they'll direct you they'll tell you to go find the closest certified scale. Even if you scaled it on site, like I scaled this load on site where I picked it up, but that's not a certified scale, and it was off a little bit, not a lot, but it was off a little bit. It did allow me to adjust my tandems where they needed to be, but it was off a little bit. But so you find a certified scale, you weigh it, you get a scale ticket, either an electronic one or the printed one. And if for some reason you go through a weigh station and your weight is wrong after you got a certified ticket, that company that gave you that certified ticket is going to either pay the fine or they're going to fight the fine for you. So that helps you not have to deal with the issue. However, if you go through one of those weigh stations and you're overweight on total or any of your axles or whatever, chances are you're going to end up having to deal with a DOT inspection. So it's good to take your time, make sure you got your load balanced, right, and your load legal weight wise, so you don't have to deal with that, hopefully. So it's just something that you got to do, and so we'll show you that. We'll show you if we go through another one that's a little bit different. We'll show you that at some point in time. But that's going through a weigh station out here in northeastern New Mexico. So we'll pick you up in a little while. This is some interesting construction. They're putting up a bridge down here. This is just east of Logan, New Mexico, near Ute Lake State Park. This is going across the Canadian River. That's where Ute Lake, the dam is what created Ute Lake, is damming this river. But they're building another bridge so that they can keep this separate over here. But let's see how this goes here. All right. Hello, everybody. It is 1:25 Mountain Daylight Time. We are in New Mexico. We're on Interstate 40 going west, just about halfway between Tucumcari and Santa Rosa, New Mexico. We just passed what I've seen like something like this just about every time I've driven this road or at least the last 4 or 5 times, and that's a wrecked or burned out truck or trailer. In this case, it looked like a trailer. I don't know what happened with the truck, but the trailer was just burnt to a crisp. And there's various reasons why that could happen. It could be something inside the trailer, but a lot of times it's an issue with something that wasn't caught during an inspection. Big thing is under-inflated tires. Those or mismatched tires can actually cause fires to start, cause a lot of heat, cause fires to start, and once that starts on your trailer, you're not going to fix that. So it's really important that you do pre and post trips inspections. Depending on the company, if you're a company driver or leased to a company, depends on how they like to do their inspections. I personally, I do like the way Stevens does theirs. I know I was talking to a buddy of mine whose company pushes for a 30-minute pre-inspection, and I'm not a fan of that. And there's a reason why, and I'll explain it. I think I've explained it before, but I'm going to explain it again. We do a pre-inspection at Stevens, but it's a short one. It's to verify what you did in the post-trip inspection. So our post-trip inspections are our detailed ones. That's where we're going through, what you learned to do your CDL. For your CDL, we call it a pre-trip. We do a post-trip over here, and then we do a short pre-trip to verify those things that could have changed overnight. I mean, the condition of a belt is not going to change overnight. The adjustment of a brake is not going to change overnight. The air in a tire could. The air pressure in a tire could. Those kinds of things that you need to check. But the reason why I prefer a post-trip over a pre-trip has 100% to do with time management. So let me give you an example. So if you do a pre-trip before you roll in the morning, if you do a 30-plus minute pre-trip, which 30 minutes should be the least that you do in a detailed inspection. Usually it's taking longer than that, but let's just say, for example, 30 minutes. Here at Stevens, 30 minutes is a minimum for our post trip. But let's talk about pre-trip. So let's assume that you're doing that DOT type inspection that you do for your CDL in your pre-trip. Well, once you start that pre-trip, you've got to log into on-duty pre-trip, right? So your 14-hour clock starts right there, okay? Right there it starts. So you're losing essentially a half an hour to 45 minutes of that 14-hour clock. Because once you exhaust that 14-hour clock, you're done driving for the day, okay? And so a lot of people won't get all the way through that, but all of us at some time or another, we push up against that 14-hour wall there, and sometimes you need to. Well, there's a Stevens there on the side of the road. Sorry to see that, but he's got some help there with him. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was talking about, inspections. We got your pre and post trip. Sorry, I'm getting a little off here. But once you start that pre-trip, you got to start your clock. All right, that 14-hour clock on duty. And if you use 30 to 45 minutes, you know that goes to your ability to use up that whole 14-hour clock. Now, if you do what we do, which is anywhere from, let's say, 3 to 10 minute pre-trip to verify the stuff that you checked the night before and that kind of stuff, then you're only losing 3 to 10 minutes of your 40-minute clock. Now, here's where doing the post-trip for me I like better. The longer post-trip is because once you get to the end of the day and you're not rolling any longer, okay, you can that time isn't as critical, because let's say that you've run and used almost all of your 14-hour clock, and now you're shut down and it's time for your post-trip. You can do that. You can do a 30 to 45 minute or an hour or whatever long, because while that's going to affect your 10-hour break, you can go past that 14 hours of being on duty. You just can't drive once you hit that 14 hours. You can't drive anymore until you take a 10-hour break. So that said, so if you do it at the end of the day and you were running short on time, you can do your break. You can do your inspection, your detailed inspection at the end of the day, and make sure that everything is good and the way it's supposed to be, and you're not under the gun because it's going to potentially take away from your driving time. Now, that said, to me, there's one other bonus in that. The other bonus in that is, if you were to find something during your post-trip and you're shut down someplace like a TA or a Petro or Love's or a Flying J or Pilot that has a garage, that has a service facility, and you need to get that fixed, you can get it fixed without having to roll very far. Right? So while they're fixing your truck, you can be taking your break, right? Instead of, okay, now you found a problem in the morning, you took your 10-hour break, and you found this problem with the belt in the morning, and now you got to go. You can't roll on time because now you got to go get it fixed, and you don't know how long it's going to take them, and then it can cause some issues like that. So, to me, I do like the way Stevens does it, and I'd be interested to find out if any other companies do it this way. I could be wrong. There could be a lot of companies that do it this way. It would make sense to me. But anyway, so that just was something that I wanted to bring up, because I didn't turn on the camera when they were cleaning up. They were picking up pieces of a burnout trailer over there. Hopefully, like I said, the driver hopefully was fine. But I know they had a burnout trailer near Gallup over here on I-40 on the western part of the state yesterday that was full of onions, and it totally burned down. So anyway, we'll see if we see anything else. It is hot out here. It was 106 degrees in Tucumcari. That's pretty toasty over here in eastern New Mexico, but we'll see how it goes. May have to go to Barstow to get cooled down. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk to you a little bit. Hello, everybody. We are in Gallup, New Mexico. This is referred to as the Indian capital of the world. This is my hometown, Gallup. Population about, give or take, 25,000 people. On the weekends, usually, when the populations from the surrounding areas come in, you can see 125,000 people in Gallup, just because this is sort of the center of commerce in the area. So, but we're going to actually spend the night here in Gallup. We will spend the night here, get running early in the morning. And tomorrow we will try to make it at least to Barstow, if not to Ontario, and that shouldn't be too hard to make it to Barstow. And if we make it to Ontario, we will tomorrow. If not, we'll shut down in Barstow. That'll put us about 112 miles from our delivery Monday morning. We have a morning delivery, but it's not an early morning delivery. About 10 a.m. So local time. We'll also gain an hour getting into California. So that'll help us out a little bit there too. But we'll see how we're gonna go. A couple things about Gallup. You know, if you've seen my videos before, I've mentioned my hometown. It was named the most patriotic small town in America a couple of years ago. I'm proud to be from here, and it was a great place to grow up. Still have a number of friends that are here in Gallup, and I look forward to seeing them when I can. Right now, we'll get a chance to have some food with my mom and relax for a little bit, and then get on the road tomorrow morning. So it is a beautiful day, beautiful sun, beautiful scenery. Sky here in New Mexico is unlike any other. Hopefully that's coming across in the video. We're going to spend the night here at TA, and like I said, get up tomorrow morning and get running by about 5 o'clock local time. So anyway, I hope you guys had a great day. I had a nice day. It's been a nice ride. Just hope you guys are all staying safe out there. I know with COVID popping back up and in areas and stuff, I know that certain communities are reinstating certain things, or enforcing the requirement for masks and stuff like that. I know here in New Mexico that the dining rooms for restaurants are open through the weekend, but they're going to close back the dining rooms starting Monday morning. So just passed a couple of restaurants there, and their parking lots are pretty packed right now. So anyway, hope you guys, like I said, hope you guys have a great one. Stay safe, and this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. I am in Gallup, New Mexico. I'm driving for Stevens Transport. I'm psyched. You guys have a good one. I will talk to you tomorrow.